Holy shit, it's been a while. What were we doing last time? I don't know. Mr. Turing used an interesting analogy earlier. I think I was getting frustrated with this. It was a hissing, sort of like a tea kettle. Right before the hot air becomes too much for the container to hold and it starts whistling. I think we were getting to the point of saying that, yes, this was in fact dry ice going boom. If you think about it, dry ice kind of does something similar, doesn't it? If I remember from last video, we got there in a very roundabout way, but we're getting there. Like evaporating water, it turns into a gas. So, if I had continued directly from last video instead of taking like a week, 2 weeks between these, I might be angrier, but I've had time to cool off, and we're gonna let this go. We got there. We're at dry ice. Excellent. And if it was pressing up and building against some sort of container, well, I guess it would make a similar sound, wouldn't it? That's it! Your Honor, you would have wanted to know how this crime could possibly be set up in advance. This is our solution. Someone put dry ice in a kettle and put it in the vents? Sebastian, dear. Oh, I get it. I mean, that's essentially it, isn't it? Mr. Justice, if you're not afraid of a few questions... Of course I'm not! I was just asking. Well, you don't need my permission. I wasn't looking for it. Were you? My point is... It's just being polite. Doesn't this faint whistling sound imply that only a small amount of gas was able to escape through the container? If so little carbon was escaping from whatever contained the dry ice, how was it enough to kill the victim? Especially if it was placed in a vent, of all places. What about our supposed kettle? What happened to what the dry ice was stored in? We searched those vents. There was no secret passage, nor leftover containers to keep dry ice in. Easy. That all has to do with the second half of what was heard that day. The second half? Here's why we have no evidence of how the dry ice was stored, and here's how enough carbon dioxide got into the room to kill the victim. Lots to do with this evidence. The plastic bits. Did you forget, Mr. Best? About the explosive sound our client heard? About the victim's lost hearing? No guns were actually fired in the audio room that day, but there was an explosion. This is what remains of whatever was used to contain the dry ice. These bits of plastic. The plastic bits, but they're bits? Destroyed. Clever, kid. This is just the workaround we needed. You think I'm right? Don't rely on me to validate you. Wait, what conclusion have we come to exactly? Your Honor, for the crime that day, somebody placed dry ice in a plastic container. Then put the resin in place so it could start hardening and seal the door. By the time the resin had hardened, the pressure of all the carbon dioxide became too much for the container. Oh, I'm starting to be reminded of how we got here, and I'm getting mad again. Started with Billy Dean actually wandering towards the roller coaster instead of the lake where the fireworks actually were. So, fireworks didn't actually explode by him. It was the dry ice. But it couldn't have been the same dry ice as the one that exploded inside the cursed castle. Because then everybody would have fucking gone deaf. I'm getting mad again, god damn it. It burst into pieces, letting all the gas out and suffocating our victim. And it exploded, like a bomb made out of dry ice. Is that possible? Has life gotten too dull for you, Your Honor? Would you like to see if we can replicate our theory right here in this courtroom? That won't be necessary. I'll just put in a request for forensics to research this matter. Oh, but I wanted to see an explosive. Time jump. Your Honor, forensics has produced a report. Oh, that was quick. Thank you very much. If you could do us the honor of sharing your info, old man. Of course, of course. Mr. Justice, it seems like your theory has some scientific merit. Many people have created these dry ice bombs before. It seems rather simple, and plastic does seem to be a common material for this sort of thing. All you need is a container, some dry ice, and some water. There it is. That's our solution to how this crime was set up in advance. It seems like you have a solution that doesn't require me giving you the benefit of the doubt this time. Excuse me. All I was doing was admitting your theory was somewhat plausible. You don't have a better explanation for it, that's for sure. Not to break up a little scuffle, but I think our next problem is rather obvious. Cui bono, Your Honor? Kiwi what now? Some bread of coffee I'm unfamiliar with. It's Latin, Your Honor. Ooh, benefits. Coffee, Latin, close enough. We still have the question of who laid our little trap, don't we? With the remains of our plastic container destroyed, I'm afraid we don't exactly have an easy answer. But that's standard fare in the courtroom, isn't it? Forget who placed it. It's not possible. Sigh? Mr. Goldstein, what is the meaning of this outburst? Let's be real here, the defense was about to double down on me anyway. Their solution is just another illusion, Your Honor. Would you care to elaborate, Mr. Goldstein? Of course. The sooner we shut this down, the better. Okay, illusion. Use every mechanism you want. Dry ice is still impossible for a premeditated murder. You know one of Quincy's blackmail victims is the murderer. Anyone who Quincy had dirt on would know he was meeting with his other victims that day. That dry ice bomb could have gone off when he had a visitor. Would our killer want that? How can you time a bomb? Simple. You don't. You can't predict things like that. Alright, well, you do have a good point. I don't think you can put a timer on dry ice bombs. Though it would make a defusal more intense. How does one defuse a dry ice bomb, anyways? With little regard to their safety. I imagine. Ahem. Yes, Mr. Goldstein? If that's all the court has to say, can we declare the defense's theory absurd and move on? You just gave testimony, Mr. Goldstein. We have the right to cross-examine it. Yes, thank you. That's very mature. Sometimes I wonder which one's the little brother. And that's coming from me. Touché. Okay, enough of the death glares. We'll get to it. This trial is Mythbusters the trial, apparently. Impossible? Use of dry ice isn't what we're doubting here. Everyone in the courtroom knows it's the murder weapon. Why are you so doubtful of my theory? If you'd listened, then maybe you'd know. We don't have any evidence that proves that for sure. Defense, do you perhaps have any suggestions as to what else someone would want, like to kill a mass blackmailer over? He had a lot of money? And how are you privy to this information? Because I know he blackmailed people? Okay, I guess it is kind of the motive right now, huh? Oh, come on, kid. Are you sure nobody else had it out against the victim? No secret love affairs or deals with the mafia? I'm just saying, if you're gonna make a fool of us, at least go all the way with it. Not because that's the case. You haven't got that many penalties, have you? Give a tired old man some entertainment. Just drink your coffee. Anyone? can understand the employees at the park knowing his routine, but what about his other victims? The ones he only had a grasp on because they visited the park once or twice. Sure they don't visit often enough to know a lot about how Mr. Quincy operated. Well, you're not planning on accusing any of them, are you? Hey, we don't know for sure. Maybe there's a blackmail victim out there we haven't met yet, and they're the true culprit. I mean, it's possible, right? Not to crush your hopes, Paolo, but that's not how many cases are allowed to work, are they? Yeah. Like, we still have several names that we don't know. Like, we don't know who AL is. Yeah, we don't know who AL is. How do we know for sure a visitor would be a problem for a murderer? As long as the door was sealed in time, would they be opposed to killing two people? Still doesn't matter. What if the bomb went off too early and the door didn't seal in time? Plan over. Anyone confident enough to use dry ice bombs must have a general idea how long they last, though, right? Look at the dry ice expert over here. I'm not claiming I'm an expert, I'm just saying. Me knowing about resin, sure. Me knowing about dry ice, haven't touched the stuff. Mr. Goldstein, we haven't accused you of anything. We just accidentally got you detained. Well, where's your suspect that knows everything there is to know about ice bombs? Are dry ice bombs really that unpredictable? Did you hear my question? Don't see why I should answer. Seeing as I don't know. I wouldn't know if there was a way around it. Ah! You okay, Paul? You know, maybe you could learn a thing or two from him, kid. If you showed more restraint, those cords of steel would be a lot more impactful. Yeah, you do have a point. I can't fully hear what you two are saying, but from the smug smile, I think it's some kind of jab at me. Aw, he grows up so fast. Well, Paolo, we're closing in on an explanation that actually works. Just a few more hurdles. And then there's the matter of actually proving who done it, as it were. Don't remind me. Just when you think the work is done, life likes to throw you on your feet and force you to keep moving. Like it or not. Life really needs to learn to give people breaks now and then. She really does. Let's just take this one step at a time for now. Nothing else you can do, kid. One, 8, 10, 12. Like, I think... Just gonna try something. Objection! False. Your Honor. U.S. Mr. Justice? This one again. Alright. Drat.
Objection!
Nope. This is so dumb. We've been given no context as to what the fuck this is.
Objection!
And it's the answer here. You don't think it would have been possible to time that bomb, and that's it? Unless this is gonna be us saying that fucking Sai was trying to do the math by doing simple times tables that don't work. Sure, dry ice bombs don't come with a timer. There is one way to figure that sort of thing out. Or if the answer is just math, there's always the tried and true method. Trial and error. Trial and error? Oh god, I see how this is going to connect now. I see how it's going to connect now, don't I? It's... the other explosion that took out Billy Dean is a part of that trial and error. Think about it. How are we supposed to put that together? If dry ice bombs explode because they can't contain the pressure of all the carbon inside them, what would affect how long a dry ice bomb took to burst? Let's see what we can make of this. The only thing we got is 6 inches by 18 inches. 64. And what does that even mean? Is that the dimensions of the container? Is one of them a dimension of a container and one a dimension of dry ice? What does this mean? It's just random number gibberish. What the fuck? Well, how much the container would hold, I would think. The bigger containers would take a longer time to explode, and vice versa, right? Bigger, bigger. Eh? What does this mean? What the... Why don't you dumb it down for us? We can follow you. Alright, then take a look at this. Mr. Justice, is this my granddaughter's math homework? No, no. How do I even have that? We found this scrap of paper, lying around at Whimsy World. He found it in the trash can. Hiya! Oh, sorry. It's just, well, she's been learning to time her tables lately. I believe it's times tables, Your Honor. These aren't multiplication problems, Your Honor. They're dimensions. Dimensions? That means the numbers after the equal sign. Should I say it? Or... They're measures of time, aren't they? That's what I'm thinking. This note here is a record of how long it takes for certain sized plastic containers to explode. Yes, that's... 8x6 container took 31 minutes to explode. A 12x8 container took 43 minutes. In other words, this piece of evidence is proof that someone timed how long it would take for their bomb to explode. Of course it is! Why not? As long as they were careful, even someone who never used dry ice before have a general idea of how long it'd take for their bomb to explode. So we're just doing casual demolitions testing at an amusement park. Yeah, makes perfect sense. And that, Mr. Goldstein, is a direct counter to your argument. Damn it. Your moon logic. It curses. Yes, I've got him on the ropes now. There's one more thing we can do, isn't there? You're right, there is. This note was written by our murderer. Oh, no. That should hurt. Oh, no. What is going on? Handwriting. After all, whoever wrote this must have deliberately timed out our bombs. Unless someone was to offer me a better explanation for what this note is. Well, Mr. Justice, we can't be too hasty. And if we find who's written this note... Handwriting analysis won't be necessary. Because... it's a waste of the court's time. I wrote that note. Alright, sure. Mr. Goldstein! Is this a confession? Yes. My note's mine. I guess the way we're supposed... guess we were supposed to process the fucking inches on that one math problem. I'm mad. I guess the inches are supposed to be what we're looking at here. And then we're just supposed to guess from the fact that math doesn't work that yes, that's... Like, even if you just put through an S here, 6 inches by 18 inches equals 64M. Or something. Something that indicate that the answers to these equations, to these non-equations, were some sort of time. Instead of nonsense math garbage. Literal garbage. If you'd just given us that, then maybe we would have been able to figure that out. Something to indicate that the solutions to the equation means something. So we'd still have no fucking context for it at the time. We'd still have no context for it. But when we get in here, we start talking about timing a bomb, we can say, wait a minute, timing? This says M. Is this 64 minutes? And these are inches? Wait a minute. Then you could put it together if you had some indication that the numbers are time. That's what this clue was missing. If it had that, I could forgive this. For not being utter fucking moon logic. That's all it's missing. That's all it's missing. Then I just end up not getting it anyway and blaming myself for being stupid. Because then it would be justified, because there's a road to getting there. There's a road to connect the clue to where it becomes relevant. Because that's what it's missing. I'm mad. I timed out the bombs. I knew the door was sealed with resin. I was blackmailed. I killed Quincy. Okay, now you're fake confessing, and he deserved every bit of what happened to him. You know that's not true. Sai, you can't do this. I did it. I'm telling you, I did it. That's my note. I killed Quincy. No, you didn't. You don't know how to read, Gil. Shut up. No, I wrote it. It's not Sai's fault. He didn't have anything to do with this. Please accuse me. Accuse me instead. Now, don't you remember what happened that last time you tried to pull a stunt like this, Mr. Gilmer? You got your brother in jail. Put in jail. I'm not lying, I wrote it. Your Honor, my brother has no connection to this crime. I request that he be held in contempt of court. No, please. What if Gil really did write it? I think what we've got to do is clear enough, but...
Objection!
You know? Enough of this show. I've seen too much drama for one lifetime. If neither of you are going to make this easy, then we'll just do it ourselves. The tests. You can't! Bailiff, take this note in for analysis. Yes, sir! Took handwriting samples from the witnesses and were left waiting for the results to arrive. It's like you could cut the tension in the courtroom with a knife. Neither of them said a word the whole time. They must have both known the truth. Eventually, the bailiff arrived. Guilty. I see. Based on analysis of the handwriting sample you two have provided, forensics have come to a conclusion. Here it is. I think you have some explaining to do. Gilmer Goldstein? See? I told you. Sai's innocent. Leave him alone. You have to leave him alone now. Right? Right? Please. Let me fight this for you, Sai. No, ignore him. That doesn't mean anything. I had him get those numbers for me. Handwriting doesn't matter. I put him up to it. It was my plan. Just did me a favor. That's all. Oh, shut up! You want us both arrested? He didn't know why. Big bro, it's okay. I mean, sort of I wrote that note. You don't have a motive to kill Mr. Quincy. He wasn't blackmailing me. No, Gil, they know. Well, you can't prove anything, can you? Sorry, Gilmer, but your brother's right. I've already figured out your motive.
Take that!
Gilmer, you can't pretend you don't have a motive. It's protecting Sai. You present the old photograph here. You already know. There's nothing to know. You know there is, Gil. Well, don't leave me in the dark, Mr. Justice. Please, tell me what you know. I don't think I need to explain it with words. Just take a look at this picture, Mr. DeBest. Oh. Ugh, that's... You did it, didn't you? Maya? You took someone's life. The name was somebody else's. Maya? So you thought it would be better for him? Maya, shut up and let me do my job. Do you think this murder would make your brother happy? Maya, shut up and let me do my job. I never want you to do this. He could have been executed, you know that? Would that be okay? Just so you can keep your status quo? Well? What if your brother figured that out? What if he knew someone had sacrificed his life? For his sake? He was only living his life as it was now because someone died. Neither he nor the victim ever had a choice in the matter. What is he even thinking when this trial is over? Gil, please, let me take care of this for you. You know it's him now, Silent. You can't. My brother is my brother. But, Gil, listen. You wrote that note for me. Sure you have a motive, but I do too. No! I'm not just gonna sit here and let this happen. I'm going to testify. You all may be right. I might have a motive for Quincy. There's one motive you're forgetting about. Sort of have a motive. Why would I frame Dean of all people? I have to deliberately put the bullet there, right? He's getting blackmailed for nothing compared to how much Sai's been extorted for. He's still the same faux menacing security guard he's always been. If I were the killer, I'd frame Molly. Or someone who had a stronger motive. It just doesn't make sense to me to pick him out specifically, right? That's your argument? Yeah. You got a problem with it? I don't see why who he chose to frame is all that important, as long as they don't get the blame. I guess you'd have to put in a bit of extra effort for Mr. Hart, specifically. I'm guessing there's a few arguments you'd like to make, Mr. Justice. Of course. Let's do this without any more outbursts from the other witnesses, please. I'm sure I could schedule a meeting with a nice cup of coffee. If anyone decides to speak up when it's not their place again. Your Honor, I also move to count drawing as speaking for the purposes of the court. Motion granted. Let's get them, Paula. Dean will be free soon. Maya. All right. Let me do my job, Baya, and we'll figure this out. We'll sort this out later. Alright, what are we doing here? Answer's simple enough. We just need to deflect blame away from you and your brother. Your display just now made it obvious. But, why him specifically? Even if I did this all for size sake, I wouldn't want it to come to something like this. Dean is a terrible target. Wouldn't be that hard to place down a bullet alongside the rest of the crime setup. But I'd have to go out of my way to get one that matched Dean's bullets. Wouldn't it be better just to try and make an unsolvable crime? One where the police can't find any suspects? And me and Sai would never have to go to this horrible courtroom? Whoever got Dean arrested caused all this. That's only assuming the police won't find a suspect. Considering who among the park has the strongest motive. But he blackmailed so many people. There's gotta be someone he made more often than Sai. We're just artists. Let's find out. Avery Richmond. If I were a Richmond. Marley Bags. Avery Richmond. I can at least back up the witness on this matter. Amongst the park workers, Mr. Goldstein's behavior and blackmail records make him a target. The police would be able to access the full list of victims. If not for the bullet, we wouldn't have been so quick to suspect the park's employees. See? I'm right about that. What about the recordings of... the victim yelling at Dean? That was a thing too, right? He's getting blackmailed for nothing compared to how much Sai's been stored for. That's... Although in that case we could fob off those recordings he was playing as just, Dean, you're fucking security! Get me the fuck out of here, Dean! We could play it off as that. So, as much as that one piece of evidence is killing me inside, we're somehow backing our way into making more things make sense. Even some of the shit from last video. The explosion that Dean got kerfuffled by is just another ballistic test, I guess. How is this something you're aware of? What? Come on, it's obvious. You all know Dean's a coward. You don't get much money off of that. Look at Sai and look at your client. The difference is like night and day. I guess so. People are complicated. You can't always read someone's page just by looking at the exterior, Golden Boy. Unless you look at the records themselves. How can you say for sure our client was being blackmailed for less? Are you saying Dean isn't the kind of guy who wears his heart on his sleeve? I suppose you have a point. Is that the only reason you had for thinking he wasn't being blackmailed more than everybody else? He's not acting any differently? Do I need another justification? Do you even know when he started to be extorted? So what? Got off easy compared to everyone. It's clear to see. Isn't that a motive in and of itself? What? No! I wouldn't hold a grudge against someone just because they're not suffering as much as everybody else. For shame, Mr. Justice. Insinuating he was a murderer wasn't for shame, but this is? I wouldn't hold a grudge against him, but it's obvious that he wasn't I wouldn't hold a grudge against him for not suffering as much as everybody else, but it's clear to see that he's not suffering as much as everybody else. That's not on the writing, that's just on Gil being a bit of a hypocrite. You knew Miss Turning was being blackmailed too. I heard things from Sai, that's all. Besides, it's not like Molly hid how much she didn't like Quincy. To be fair, she confessed to being blackmailed pretty easily. See? Exactly. It wouldn't really make her a higher priority target than my client if it came to framing someone. Well, who would you frame then? I don't know. I'm not a criminal. With all the info we have, I guess I can see why he'd be a low priority target. That's assuming you were as informed as the police were. You don't know how much I know? Clearly not. I'm the brother of one of his biggest victims. I worked with him. I can't say anything for sure. His argument is flimsy. It won't last long. If he needs some honeyed words, I think I could shatter his testimony right now. But if we can find a reason he had it out against our client specifically, and the connection gets us all the closer to finally finishing this. Let me try it for a little longer. Alright, the stage is all yours today, kid. Stay focused, Apollo. You can do this. Because it's true, Gil and Mr. Hart don't have much of a connection. Do I even know about a time they could have interacted that day? Either way, his testimony's weak. There's just a few things that are bothering me. Everything okay, Maya? Maya? Oh, yeah, I'm okay. Let's unravel this guy's lies, Paolo. He's our murderer. No amount of motive will change that. Dean deserves to be free. Silent will just have to move on. You keep saying that. Well, yeah, I have a point. Alright. We'll talk later. Right now, I have a client to save, Maya. I feel like I've got to present the dry ice. Not the dry ice, the audio files.
Objection!
False. Your Honor. Dramatic tension, blah blah blah. Alright, well, here's what we got to do. That's right, it's this. I guess what we're getting at here is that just be taking a stab at this, but it's gonna come back to the fireworks. Right? Gil knows who wasn't at the fireworks. Maybe.
Objection!
We'll find out. I agree, Gilmer. All the people to target, Mr. Hart would be a strange choice. Especially if you didn't cross paths with him the day of the murder. But you did, didn't you? This links back to the exploding dry ice at the roller coaster? You know, the evidence doesn't specifically mention that. It didn't get updated. But it is the piece of evidence that we used to get Billy Dean to tell us where he went. So I guess that's a connection? So if you played through this segment straight through, you'd know that. So, acceptable. I've already established that the sound that caused my client to lose his hearing, the sound Miss Turing heard, might be one and the same. What was that sound? One of the dry ice bombs going off. Considering where the bomb was, it makes sense in regards to the victim's lost hearing. As for my clients, why did he hear the bomb? Oh, members of the court, we know Mr. Hart didn't get close to the fireworks launch site. There was one place he did get near. Your bomb's test site. The very place where you were timing out your plan. That's why he lost his hearing that day. You two almost crossed paths. $10 p.m. Which would mean that in theory... What time were the fireworks? The fireworks were earlier that night. I'm I'm assuming. It doesn't actually tell us what time the fireworks were. That would be nice to be able to recall. And that's why you framed him, because you were afraid he saw you. You were afraid he might know about your plan. What? He was there. He said in court today proves it. The connection is obvious. But... I even saw him. He didn't see me, right? If it was too dark for him to notice me, then how did I notice him? There's no proof I had enough visibility. No, you did. And I have the evidence to prove it. We do? What? The truth that you could see perfectly well that night. Oh my god. Of course, he was writing notes. Exactly that night, so we've established you wrote this note, haven't we? Court could take a look at it once again, please. Okay, what about it? Look at the writing itself. We've already done that. No, not whose handwriting it is. What the handwriting is like. Do you see any eraser marks? The writing's at a slant, but otherwise it's rather neat, isn't it? There's an ease with which the lead moved across the page. Straight lines, clear letters, confident strokes. Exactly. Only overstating it just a little there. The way the page is written, it's too clean for someone writing by nightlight. An occasional firework would only last a few seconds. It wouldn't be long enough to write a whole line. Of course, he was testing all of these that exact same night. So all of these were, of course, written that exact same night, right? That's what we're getting at? I think it's safe to say our writer had some source of light on them. And some extra light would be just what they needed to spot our client. This is... just some neat handwriting isn't enough to prove there was light there. Your suspect is an artist, Mr. Justice. I'm sure he'd have the dexterity to keep a steady hand, even in the dark. Yeah, if I can paint butterflies on people's faces, I can keep my handwriting clean. It's likely you had a light on you, isn't it? Oh my god. After all, you had some sort of timer on you at the time of writing this note, didn't you? The easiest option would be just to bring a cell phone. You could easily double as a light source. Even with a steady hand, you'd have no reason not to want some extra light. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Because the reason you're accusing me is because of that stupid note. That very stupid note. Sort of your theory makes sense. What the prosecution has to say about Dean makes sense too. It doesn't mean anything. My handwriting doesn't mean a thing. Could have been planning canvas sizes on the note for all you know. It's not wrong. We are guessing a lot here. It's not me. It's not Sai. Hey, maybe it's not even Dean. It could be someone else. There. You can't arrest me. You can't arrest me. You don't have proof. All you have is that note. I don't care what it takes. Sai and I are going back to normal. I think we'll be exactly like it was before that monster blackmailed him. Go ahead, declare Dean innocent, Your Honor. I don't care. You have nothing against me, and you won't find anything. Let Quincy be dead. Who cares about justice for him anyways? You expect there to be no consequences for what you've done? Why? Why would there be? This was the only way I could get my big brother back. My real big brother. My hands were tied. I'm right, aren't I, prosecutor? The note alone isn't enough to arrest me? Yes, I believe that much is true. Nothing definitively connects the note to the crime itself. But... so what? We'll find something else. Apollo, get this over with. What? Please, just get this over with. I'm tired of listening to those two. I don't care if they'd do anything for each other. Gil's killed a man. There's gotta be a limit to how much you can do for someone. Silent has to realize. Maya! Alright, let's bring this guy in. May have quite the sob story, but I won't hold back. Kid, you willing to get to work? Okay, Apollo's almost at his limit here, and so am I. I don't even know what to do here. This is a court of law, Gilmer. Making sense is kind of important, but it's not enough. If things are... Even if a story makes sense, I believe what the witness is trying to say is good sense isn't enough to for sure make a case. Yeah, that. Yeah. Why do you bother pressing statements that are just sentiment? Hey, I like pressing everything. Hey, don't judge me.
Hold it!
It did, but we spent this whole trial trying to disprove it. You can't just let my client be declared guilty, Gilmer. Why don't you focus on doing your job and make that not make sense? Lay off me, will you? You're only here for Dean, right? Forget my argument. Just ruin the prosecutions. Please.
Hold it!
What exactly is the value after the canvas size, then? You know, behind the equal signs? Maybe the value just equates to, how much supplies I would need for the project. You never know. What exactly is the theoretical project, anyway? How exactly did you put a numerical value on art supplies? They don't exactly look like prices to me. It's just an example. Theoretically, you shouldn't need an example. You should just know what you wrote that note for. The point is, you have no proof that it was for your dry ice thing. You're right. It's the only evidence you have against me. For a case against you that's so flimsy, you certainly don't know how to act the part. That's because you guys are freaking me out. I'm not the killer, okay?
Hold it!
Alright, I'll bite. Is there anyone that you suspect, Gilmer? I don't know. You don't? So what? You guys went it all in on Sai yesterday. You even got him detained. Look where we are now. You've chosen another target. What if you're wrong again? Could be wrong. Well, yeah. That's kind of why we're cross-examining you right now. To find something that for sure links to the crime. Well, I don't see anything definitive. Apollo, you can't just let this end here. It's obvious he's guilty. There's got to be some perfect definitive evidence somewhere. Just end this case the way it's supposed to end, Apollo. Supposed to? Figure something out that'll nail him down. You can do it. You've always. Just end this trial. We're so close. Oh, yeah? You were the one who wanted to whip us into shape and get us to take the case, right? Courtroom is always a battle of wills, and the truth always shapes lives. But I know you're strong enough for it. Just take a deep breath and think it all through. Don't let them get to your head. No. It's just... none of this is going the way the way I thought it would. Just finish this, Paolo. And let it push a little further. Then there will be no denying the truth. What comes with it? We're gonna get a chance to actually stop and not go for the big ending. If we do get that chance, this might win me back in the end. Focus, Justice. There's gotta be some sort of evidence he left behind. What? Oh, okay. Right now all we have is speculative. The trial could devolve into chaos again any second. We need to protect Mr. Hart. I'm not gonna let there be any more false confessions again. The only evidence we have that connects Gilmer to anything is this note. Do you have any other evidence that could prove a definitive connection on its own? No. All our evidence is really flimsy. No. If there was something else definitive, we would have found it a long time ago. The crime scene is too clean. Mr. Best barely even has any physical evidence against our defendant. None of the circumstances around what Gilmer said he did that day are damning enough. We did have a lot to do that day. I have to think, which one of his actions that day could have left us the clue we need? Gathering blackmail info. Dry ice for the bombs, but I mean, Surely he doesn't have any need to be by the dry ice shack if he has fingerprints there. No, all the dry ice that was used that day is gone. There's no burns on Gilmer's hands either. He was able to paint Maya's face without so much as a wince the other day, given the state of the crime scene. I have no doubt that he hid his fingerprints when he was getting the ice, too. Okay, fair enough. Any sign that he was the one who took it is long gone by now. What else is there? Think. Preparing materials for the crime. Materials, right. Something he would have had to do that day. If he was the one, the day of. If he was the one who set up our trap. He had to do everything on such short notice. It might still be something that indicated he was involved in the crime. But what is it? It got to be related to one of these pieces of evidence. Rubber... Not the plastic. Maybe the plastic. No, see. Plastic bits are just going to get played off as, It's the bullet blank, isn't it? Oh, that's it. It would make sense for him to have to take apart Dean's bullet in advance. He had prevented it from being traceable to the gun, since it was never actually fired. He decided to frame Dean while he was testing those bombs. It means there wasn't a large frame of time between when he prepared and he disposed of the evidence. So in that case, there's a good chance.
Take that!
Gilmer, you set up the crime scene, all of it. It means one thing. Put this little bullet casing down to frame my client. Must have been in quite the rush to get this piece of evidence, right? After all, you only singled out Mr. Hart that afternoon. It means you'd have to prepare to frame him in a hurry. In a matter of a few hours, you'd have to get the dry ice, the right plastic container, the resin, and the bullet ready. The bullet? I think it's safe to say our witness doesn't know too much about guns. It means one more thing. Any of you ever taken apart a bullet before? I would hope not. We know what they need to fire, right? Easy. Gunpowder. Basically, if you didn't know what you were doing and you had to take apart a bullet, you'd get gunpowder everywhere. That stuff doesn't come out easy. You were in a hurry that day, Gilmer. If you made a mess, you'd have to hide it, fast. You're still all dolled up in face paint. Not too fussed by the death of a co-worker, are we? Oh, no. No, I just haven't had time to take it all off. We have visitors now, so, hey, why not keep it? Hey, what's that look for? So that dark spot that appeared when the lightning bolt used to be. Not some leftover paint, is it? It's leftover gunpowder. Yeah. It is. You mean? Meanwhile, Maya's sitting there next to us going, let's test it, let's find out, light a match. The evidence is right there? We're literally face to face with it? Exactly. But why? Why not just try to remove the gunpowder when you got home that day? I couldn't. Sigh. When we reunited after Dean was arrested, he knew the face paint wasn't there earlier. He gave me this look. He's been suspicious this whole time. So, he acted like it was all normal. It was just some extra paint I slapped on for practice. He saw me in a hurry to remove it. Why kill Quincy if he'd just be miserable again? I did it. Me and me alone. I planned the whole crime. I killed that man. Go ahead. Prepare the gunpowder for all I care. Quincy's dead. I don't regret it. Because that man, that bastard deserved it. And Sai's free now. But now that you've found me... Sora, Kingdom Hearts? Sai. This was all to make you happy again. Don't you see what you've done, Mr. Justice? Was this all for nothing in the end? Is he just going to be miserable again? No, I killed him. I won, surely. What? What? It's Quincy, it's all him. It's his fault. This is what he gets. This is what he gets for smothering Sai's spark. You deserve this. I deserve this, finally. Nay, you caught me. We're so thankful, Gil. Anything to make the park a happy place again. I'll give myself up for the greater good, but yes, it's all worth it. Thank you for getting rid of him. There's so many of us. We're thankful. What? I've won! We're happy again. So I have no idea. I didn't know who I sacrificed. We're happy. Just like it used to be. I don't know right now what I'm yeah that